Hey guys, Crazy Monkey Crypto here. I'll be as like the RPM versioned intro. Today we're going to be doing a complete revamp of all of basically my electrical work that I have for my miners, and we're going to be working on our heat dissipation, I guess you could say, because it is getting really freaking hot in here. Like 84 degrees. Way too hot. I don't like the heat. There's my dog. I don't like the heat. We're able to pull in a little bit of air from the outside, but it's getting too much. So I want to eventually we'll get both of my GPU rigs up like this and have everything venting out towards the back or out towards this window, and that way I won't have to deal with my one GPU case that's blowing like basically directly onto my bed because I was just using the 120 volt outlets that I had. So where does this all stem from? In case you guys don't know what this is, I don't remember the exact name. It's like a 16L to 14R or something. But it is basically a 4-prong dryer plug conversion into this 3-prong. And so I'm going to be able to use this essentially to access the 240 volt that is right here for my dryer. You guys can see that's 60 amps. There's two 30 amp circuits. Now, unfortunately, this only supports 30 amps. So potentially, if we get there, we might need to do like a splitter off of this into like two, if I want to run two different 30 amp circuits. I don't really know how that works. And I can't really do a lot of the electricity work myself. But then I got this Lifestyles Warehouse PDU. And so this basically has a switch, and then you're able to pull up basically the volts and the amps that you're using. And it has 6 C13 to C14 plugs, and then it has 4 C19 to C20 plugs. Now, this GPU Riser's R8. This takes the C19 to C20 plug. And then I have 2 C13 to C14 cables because my Vitretu mining case runs on this cable, as well as the Jazzminer X16Q. So that is my plan. I also, just to add to my big bundle of fun toys here, I got this 24 port switch. I believe it's an unmanaged switch. And so this is to replace essentially the really crappy 10 port switch that I have right now. I think I'm already at 9 out of the 10 ports, and it'll just randomly shut off, and then I have to basically unplug it and reboot everything, and then I have miners going offline, and then stuff doesn't want to work in HiveOS. So I went ahead and just got a 24 switch off of, I don't know, some like used data center seller on eBay. And so hopefully this will set us up for quite the long while. I don't think I can even fit 24 miners or independent Ethernet cords into miners if I wanted to. But okay, so that is the plan. So we're going to start with the electricity first. So we'll get this plugged in, and then we're going to I have an idea of where I want the PDU to be on the wall. Unfortunately, it's hidden here, but this PDU cable is maybe 6 feet. And the problem is the distance from where I'm plugging it in to where I actually need it over here is about 15 to 20 feet. So that is why I bought these ridiculously long 25-foot cables. I forget, I think this may be 14 gauge or 11 gauge, and then this is 14 gauge. But yes, these are like 25-foot cables. Because I'm going to need to run them a long distance, and I'll do some wire management to kind of tuck it along the edge. But, okay, so let's get started. If you're curious, I'll have links to all this stuff down in the description below. If you maybe have a similar setup as me, where you want to access your 210 volt or 240 volt, sorry, and actually use it for some mining. So, okay, let's start getting this thing configured. Okay, so we're here inside. I apologize if the audio is really bad and the video is really bad, but we're inside here in my dryer closet. So, strangely enough, I didn't really know dryers run on 120 volt. You guys can see there that that's my washer and my dryer both plugged into 120 volt, and then we have this 240 volt plug here. So we'll go ahead and plug in that yellow cable, and then I'll just plug in the PDU. Okay, so we got this thing plugged in and attached. So I guess first off, let's check and make sure this thing even turns on, because that would really suck. Okay, cool. So you guys can see it does turn on. Let's see, we got about 208 volts. And as you guys can see, we're not using any watts, or excuse me, any amps, obviously. We have nothing plugged in. So I'm thinking of putting it kind of vertically along here so that I can see the output pretty clearly. Now, I did apply these 3M strips just because I don't have easy access to a drill to drill this into the wall, but we'll try with the command strips. If those don't work, then I'll have to figure out how to get a drill. So, okay, let's stick it onto the wall. All right, I just did this kind of freehand. Looks pretty good. So, okay, now let's start unplugging all of my old miners and get them moved into what is going to be our new spot, and see how I want to get those all set up. Okay, so let's start with my Vitretu rig. Now, this thing has been here for probably about 2 months, and I'm not going to show you, but it's basically blasting the hot air back this way, and that's basically right at my bed. I live in a studio apartment, so there's only so much room. There's only so many places I can direct the heat without passing away. So let's move this thing up, and I'm going to put it back up where my R8 is right now. Okay, so I wanted to open this up just in case there was a little bit of dust. Well, there's a lot of dust, and I don't have a video of any of it, but take my word for it. There was a lot of dust, a lot of dog hair, because I do have a dog, but I used this, this is only half of it. There's also kind of a vacuuming end. But I'll leave a link for this down below if you want to use it. It actually works pretty well. It just pulls air from like the suction side over here and blows it out kind of this long nozzle. Worked pretty good. Got basically all of the dust out. So we're going to check my R8, and then we'll stack these and start getting them ready to power up. And just a quick note for those of you who watched my GPU mining rig build video. I did get a magnetic screwdriver off of AliExpress for like $6 or something, but it was because I lost one of these screws in my R8 because it wasn't magnetic, and then I had to literally pull everything out. Pain in the butt. So definitely would recommend one of these if you don't already have a magnetic screwdriver. Okay, thankfully the R8 is, I mean, basically spotless. There's just a little bit of dust stuck in these intake fans, but like I said, I didn't even touch any of the graphics cards. So hopefully it stays much cleaner up here. Okay, so I think this is what we're going to run with. I mean, this isn't a big deal, but just kind of irritating. Power controls are over here for R8, and they're over here for the Vitretu case, as well as the power. The 4 hot swappable PSU into this one plug is on this side, and then on the Vitretu it's on the other side. But whatever, not a big deal. So I'm going to grab the Ethernet cable, both the Ethernet cables, and then we'll grab the power cables, make sure at least one of them boots up, and then we'll make sure both of them boot up, and then yeah, then we'll do the Jazz Miner. Okay. So now we have the 25-foot C19 to C20 cable plugged in, and then also the C13 to C14 cable. I'm gonna run this cable mess over to the PDU. Okay, here we are over at PDU. Just make sure that's clean. Oops. Okay, and I already hear it firing up in the back, so that must be the R8. And so we can see we are pulling a little under 3 3 amps right now with this C19 C20 cable, and then we'll also turn on the Vitretu case. Okay, I don't know if you guys can even hear me, but we have, let's turn this down, but we have both the cases running. As you can see, we got the green light in there, and then we obviously have, there we go. So both the cases are running, which is awesome. Let's check out the power usage on the PDU. Okay, so combined, they're at about, let's see, it's still climbing. Okay, so combined, they're at about 6.4 amps. Goodness, I'm trying to think, I don't think they're both mining right now, but let me start them in HiveOS so that we can officially check how many amps they're pulling. Okay, looks like they're ramping up mining. Let's go check HiveOS. Okay, so both these rigs are up. They're getting right about 200 mega hash for 8 5700 XTs on Kapow, and they're each using about 100 watts. Maybe I'll throw up a screenshot of that on what that looks like in my HiveOS. So super happy about that. Let's check the PDU. Just saying, we're using right about 13 amps, maybe a tiny bit more, 13.1 to 13.2. But if we're using the 80% rule, I have about 11 more amps left for this PDU. And you guys might be saying, well, that's a lot of plugs. Yes, it is. But, you know, I don't know if I'm going to get maybe some more jazz miners, which only take about 700 watts. And so you divide that by like 200-ish, God, I don't know why I keep saying that, volts. It only would be about 3.5 amps if I'm doing my math correct. So say I was going to get the rest as jazz miners. I have about 11 amps to work with. These are about 3.5, so I could get about 3 more jazz miners. So it just leaves me a little bit of headway. It only was about $10 or $15 more expensive. The other ones only, I think, had 3 or 4 C13 to C14s and 1 or 2 C19 to C20s. So I just wanted to give myself enough headroom in case I want to expand into more like power efficient 240 volt miners. But now that we have these over, I want to get my jazz miner over as well. So let's do that. Okay, so I opened up my jazz miner X16Q. And we did the same kind of blast out job here. So it looks pretty nice and clean now. Now I did have to go through, I believe, this screw here, and that technically voids the warranty, but I don't even know if this thing's still in warranty. I technically bought it open box on on eBay, so I don't even know if that would count anyways, but I did it. I want to make sure this thing's nice and clean before we get it set up. I think we're gonna do up on top of, well, maybe up on top of here. We'll see. Also, Mr. Red Fox Crypto does a good job of explaining this in his video, but there's 2 screws up here on the top. There, so here you can see the sticker I went through for the warranty. 2, 3 on the side, and then 1, 2 on the bottom, and then it just slides off on the back here. So if you do want to take yours apart and clean it, that would be how you do it. Okay, so I know we were just looking at the jazz miner. I just wanted to double check our amps here. It's staying pretty consistent, about 13.5. And this is running Kapow. Now, okay, so you can see I have all 3 cables plugged in, but I do not currently have my jazz miner running yet. I think I want to put it kind of on this window ledge. And the thought is, it'll be able to suck in a little bit of air here. Maybe I can back it up. Suck in air here, and then spit the air out the backside here, and then it will intercept the two big streams of air here and then get forced out through the window. So let's go ahead and turn it on. This one always freaked me out because it takes a while to actually power up. Okay, I can feel the fans. We can see the lights, which is good. You can feel the fans in the front. Hopefully our fans are going to be running at a lower RPM now that we did that cleaning. Hopefully it'll stay cleaner up here. There won't be as much dirt and dog hair and all that kind of stuff. But we can feel the fans back here. These are both running good. Nice hot air being vented out here. Yeah, so that's all of our mining rig setup. We'll double check and make sure that this is running okay. You guys see it has the fault right now, but we'll check that out and see what it's saying on the dashboard. Okay, so we're over here on the dashboard. You guys can see it's been running for a little under a minute. You can see it is connected to the network, which is great. I believe the reason why it shows up as red on the front of the device is because it's building the DAG. And just to confirm, we'll head back over here and we can see that we are getting a green flashing light, which will turn to just, actually no, it just stays at blinking green. But we know it's functioning normally, so no need to worry about this thing. Okay, so it's been a couple days. Everything seems to be running really quite well. This thing up on the wall, you know, I don't love it because it's in the direct sunlight, but the temperatures have actually been pretty good. And then we have these two machines here, has been running really well, no issues here. Now if we head over, check our PDU, you can see we're right at about 16.5 amps, which means we have about 7.5 to 8 amps left to go. Now we're done with the power, so let's do a quick internet switch upgrade and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, so this is this, I don't even know what brand it is, Ienron, I don't know. This is a 10-port network switch that I got off Amazon. It's an absolute piece of junk. I hate it. It will randomly just drop signals. It'll randomly reset for no reason. You guys can see that this fourth port should be on, and so should this port. And you guys can see they're plugged in. I've tried resetting this thing. I've tried plugging in, replugging in the Ethernet cables. Nothing. So we're gonna get rid of this piece of trash, and we're gonna install this big boy 24 port unmanaged switch. So let's do that right now. All right, this is so much nicer. So you guys can see we have basically, this one's our input from the router, and then these are 7, and then this one, it's just too short, but this one's for my desktop. But you guys can see all 8 are running, all 8 are working. I'm even seeing my little G1 minis down there had been off for such a long time because the Ethernet ports wouldn't work. So super happy with this. Also did a tiny bit of cable management. I'm not very good at cable management. Just zip tied a couple of cables. Here's a couple more of the cables. I zip tied and just kind of screwed into the wall. I don't know. I need to find a better way to deal with this, but for right now, this will have to do. So, all right, guys, if you made it all the way to this end of the video, honestly, give yourself a round of applause. This is a super long video. I know I have tons of footage. We'll try to trim it down to just the essential stuff, but super happy with the setup we have so far with our Jazz Miner and our 16 5700 XTs. These are all venting basically out here and out through this window. Now I think I want to make like a cover to go here and maybe like, I don't know, along here to force all of the hot air out. But I think honestly right now it's doing a pretty good job. with the amount of airflow that's coming out, it's forcing it to go out. And then I have an intake on the other side, over by like some of my hotspots and that kind of stuff. So guys, please, if you made it to the end of this video, give me a thumbs up. It helps me understand that you guys actually value this type of video. If you have any comments, leave them down below. I know there's probably stuff that I missed, or you can chirp me for my cable management. I know it's not very good. If you guys want to let me know that down below. Also hit the subscribe button. We're going to be continuing to put out videos. We're a little bit slower right now. I have some personal stuff going on, but I'm going to keep trying to crank out videos for you guys to get ready for the bull run so we can all make some freaking money. All right. Appreciate you guys. Peace out.